Hi, everyone. I'm Beth English, and I'm here today with my friend Sergio Gomez. Hi, Sergio.
Hi, Ben. Good to see you as usual. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited about our topic today. We're going to talk about how to cure loneliness with community.
That's a great topic. I can't wait to see and to hear what you have to share with us, Beth. It's going to be good.
Well, I know you have an artist community that you lead, and I have an artist community that I lead. And mine is in Nashville, Tennessee. And as you know, I have been living in Texas for the last 6 months, and I have really been missing seeing them because, we were in the habit of seeing each other all at least once a month for sure at our monthly meetings, and then out and about at art shows and things like that. So I've been really thinking a lot about the power of community and how it enables us to really connect to parts of our spirit that make us feel good, that make us feel connected. And so that's really brings me to my first point is one way that community heals loneliness is because it creates connection. Connection is something that we all need as humans. It's something that we want more of all the time. That's why we're constantly on social media and we're trying to find ways to create connection that, feeds that part of ourselves that feels like we belong. But that's why communities, I think, are so incredible because they do give us that space to belong. They do give us that connection. And I believe when we're connected, we feel like we're creating trust and we're building bonds. And those are the fundamentals of healthy relationships.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, as you talk about like you moving to Texas, right? During this season, as we go into the pandemic and so on, and you've been used to being kind of in a big city and then now isolated. In my case, even though I haven't moved, but because of the COVID and all the restrictions, we used to have, for example, Third Fridays every month, since 2004. In which we had open house and tons of artists opened their doors in their studios and tons of people came through. So I was used to for the last 15 years to this cycle of month by month preparing for Third Friday, having this big event, and then preparing for the next one. And all of a sudden, we don't have that since March, right? All that has been kind of stripped away. So yeah, that for me was kind of like a rejuvenating time for seeing friends and connecting with people I haven't seen, meeting new people. And when that is pulled away, even though we're in the same city in the same place, it feels like something is missing, right? When that is pulled out. So glad we're talking about that.
Yeah, no, I think we're all feeling a loss of connection right now. And I've been to one of the Third Fridays and there's so much fun. And I can see how that's such a staple for your community because it was a time when everyone could come together and really just celebrate each other and celebrate the work that we create. And I think that we need that because that gives us what we need to move forward and to feel strong and to feel, which brings me to my next point, which creates meaningfulness in our life. I think when we are in community and we're building connections, like ultimately that leads to leading a more meaningful life because we're feeling like hope and we're connecting to joy and love and we are, and giving each other these bonds and this way of like living and being with one another that invites us to dream beyond where we currently are, to see what other people are doing and think, wow, if they're doing that, I could do that too. And I think that's where we feel like that drive within us to create and to just push ourselves even further to connect more with people. So living with a meaningful life, I know for me brings me so much joy, and I wouldn't be doing that if it wasn't for my community because I feel like they give me so much support. And because of that support, I'm inspired, I'm encouraged. And I feel like whenever we are stressed out, like it helps us to be resilient to those stresses. And so community is just so powerful in so many ways, and it touches our heart and it brings us to a level of acceptance and meaning that is so much better than doing life alone. And even though we are separated right now, even though COVID really has eliminated a lot of opportunities to connect, I think it can also encourage us to think more creatively about how we are connecting. And so this last weekend on my Instagram page, I sort of did a takeover where all I did was share images from all the events that we did as a community over the last 8 years. And it was so fun taking a walk back down memory lane, because I think what it did is connect us to that energy that we felt when we were actually in those environments and at those events. And I think like that just brings up a nice memory, which I think if we want to create that sense of belonging, that sense of energy within us, we can use visualization using memories and experiences to sort of bring back up those emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love that. That
yeah,
is
I know.
really
I just shared a whole lot with you because I'm so excited about this.
that's good. I love that. And yeah, and I think that's one of the passions that we both shared. And that's actually kind of why we also started these conversations, because you have passion for community, and so am I. It's one of our kind of shared values that we have. And yeah, and I think just as you said, being part of that community, it kind of rejuvenates yourself. One of the things that, for example, we did here with my online community is that, when the pandemic began, we started to do these Zoom calls where, we had on Zoom calls more like strategic calls and things like that, but like Zoom call for just to check with each other, right? Just to check in and see what's happening in your studio. And now we kept them because, it's now has become such an important part of, our experience as a community. But, it's this idea of just checking in as a group, whoever wants to join and see what everybody's doing in their studio. And I realized that, just showing up, and as others showed up too, and others started to share what was going on in the studio, when we, click on cancel that call, and at the end of the call, I always highlight and say, okay, I'm going to walk now in my studio and start doing something, right? Or work on the next thing. Because as you shared earlier, it kind of, that energy that you have in the group, it tends to give us that energy that we want to now go and apply that in the world. So totally agree with that. And I love that. And the cool thing is that we can have those communities in multiple ways, right? Communities that we are part of, and then also smaller communities that we can be part of too, simultaneously.
Yes, I love that. And you know what I think is really cool is when you're doing these Zoom calls and you're connecting online and online communities, what that has done for me is actually like connected me to people in a way where we end up talking on the phone, and then we ended up, creating a bond, even though we're not seeing each other face to face, but we're sharing that one-on-one time and holding space for each other enough to like feel like whatever is on our hearts is being heard. And that has been such a nice surprise to take some of these online relationships to the phone, to Zoom calls, just different ways that we can like deepen those relationships with people that we feel that we are, like-minded with. And I mean, I think you'd be surprised. I don't know, but like when you're leading your Zoom calls, how many other people watching are in the chat, like getting phone numbers and getting email addresses so that they can follow up with other artists later?
Yeah, I can actually, this weekend I had one of the artists who, she's in Italy, northern part of Italy, is part of our group. And then she sent me a picture over Messenger this weekend, and she showed me a picture how she got the visit from another member of our community who went to visit her studio, and they both took a picture and they sent it to me and said, look, here we are. And that just filled my heart with joy and emotions. Like, that is awesome, when those things can happen. Yeah, totally.
It fills my heart with joy just hearing that story, because like you were the connector, like you're the reason why they learned about one another and then took that relationship even further to the point where they met up. And like such beautiful things happen when we just open ourselves up, are vulnerable with our time and energy by connecting with other people, because that's when collaborations happen. When that happens, it's just like this beautiful way that I just love. I know personally love working with others, like you and I are collaborating, and then there's other people that I work with, and that's really the best experience ever. And so community does that. And so if you aren't in a community or you're looking to be in a community, I just really recommend that you check out Sergio's Instagram and my Instagram and kind of check out the things that we're doing in our art communities, because we really just love people so much. We want to bring them together, and through connection, so much is possible. And I just want to keep increasing those connections any way that I can, and supporting people and encouraging them to know that what they do matters, how they feel matters, and everyone else feels that way too. Like online can be a really nice place right now if we just get into the right communities. And so we have to just believe that that's possible. So
yeah, absolutely. I think that is great. Great advice for everyone. Find your tribe, right? Find your people, find your crowd, find those who get you, right? Those who get you. And that's the best place to be, where they get you.
Well, Sergio, how can our friends watching today get in community with you so that if they're feeling lonely, they'll start to gain some connection and meeting and support from the people that they surround themselves with.
Yes, of course. So, of course, you can find me on Instagram, Sergio Gomez Art. My online academy, which is my online community that I was talking about today, is called the Art Next Level. So you can find it at theartistnextlevel.com. How about you, Beth?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Beth English. You can follow my group, the Nashville Creative Group. If you want to have your artwork featured in our stories, just use the hashtag #CreativeNash. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week on Wednesday, and we just would love to hear from you. So let us know what kind of community you're looking for. Maybe we can help connect you with the right person.
Absolutely. Goodbye, Beth. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.